Hi, konnichiwa, ni hao. A small disclaimer here before we get started. This is a list of my top 25 songs from April 1st through June 30th, 2020. This does not account for full comebacks, live stages, music videos, or anything apart from the actual song. I will talk about the artist a tad, but the main focus is the song. And I'm going to be a bit more generic this time around as I feel I got a bit too technical in quarter one. This is entirely my opinion and does not take any charts or outside opinions into account. I started this list with 50 plus songs and I had to cut it down. I'm not entirely happy with it, but I don't feel like I could be because of the quality of music that I feel was released during this quarter. If you're so inclined, feel free to leave your own top 10, 15, 20, or even 25 songs from this quarter in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into it. So Golden Child is a group that I really don't listen to, but I figured after seeing them on Road to Kingdom I'd just give it a shot, and I couldn't actually be happy that I did. They're still not my favorite guy group, but definitely jumped up there with this album. The track itself has a very retro/futuristic feel to the synth melody, and the guys are much better singers than I remember, and the groove is something I'm super into. I can't quite explain it, but it's something that just really strikes my fancy. The chorus is stuck in my head a lot, and the transitions are just perfectly executed. What's the answer? So AB6 makes their first comeback as a 5-member group after a scandal causes them to lose their leader to a DUI, and which pushed their comeback back. I think Brand New Music handled the situation as best they could, considering that they're a new group and doing damage control really. I was really worried about this comeback, but it's phenomenal. It's very playful and for the most part with the glimpses of maturity, so it's not like a completely cute concept, which I think will behoove them as they get further into their career. The playfulness of the song is complemented by a bouncing bass and soft percussion to contrast the really clear melodic vocals from the guys. Okay, so I normally wouldn't put a title track this far back, but Stray Kids stuff, especially after Miro and especially their title tracks, I haven't really been a fan of, but this song hits me differently. I think it's the fact that it sounds a bit more like Miro in the sense of having sirens in the chorus and having a very minimalistic chorus. The pre-chorus also gives it a really nice area to breathe and build the tension for the chorus. Given to it by the do, which I can literally feel like punches to my gut. I can literally feel the impact, and I have a very soft spot for artists that are involved in their own music production, and Samracha, Bangchan, Changbin, and Han have done that since day one, and it's something that I really adore about them.
Hey, get your sunglasses, let's get up down in the spotlight. It'll get you uncovered and have all this for such a fool. 뜨겁게 미움받는 기분, oh, so nice. 가볍게 가르쳐줄게, 너무 캐쳐. B-O-W-E-O, 당당하게. All the good girls here. B-O-W-E-O, 당당하게. Are you ready to be G-O-W-E
I'll admit I just randomly discovered this song by just scrolling through One the K's YouTube channel and only listened to it because Moonbyul's on the track, but my favorite part of the song is the laid-back groove that Jia gives this. I recognized Jia from somewhere and realized that she's from Brown Eyed Girls, and that only made me love the song more as I have a soft spot for Brown Eyed Girls. The piano, that's a large part of the instrumental, is a really nice touch and I wish it was used more. I don't know what it is about songs with like a vintage and retro like feel that gets me, but they're always something I really enjoy, and this song is a very much a guilty pleasure of mine. Now 17 is also a group I don't listen to very often, and I haven't really enjoyed anything from them since Don't Wanna Cry, but I digress. I dare you to tell me that after hearing this song and the first few seconds of it, that doesn't sound like an anime opening. And oddly enough, I think that's what I like about it. Also, the cheering with the clapping right before the chorus draws out the expectation of the listener, making the chorus all the more satisfying. Spoiler alert, Fantasia is not on this list, and it surprised me that a B-side actually beat the title track for me from Monsta X. Normally I have like one or two B-sides I kinda like, and then the title track always comes out to be first from the album, but this is the first time their B-sides have actually been more my cup of tea. The song drives forward, but I feel like it has a somewhat laid-back feel to it, like a lot of songs that have come out recently. This also feels like a good song that you can't just really be mad after listening to, especially with the cheering in the beginning, and it feels like an anthem. Another good 17 track is just what I need to get them back into my day-to-day listening playlist. Woozi and Sungkwon's part with the piano and like just the piano in the background is so nice, and actually what made me pay attention to this song. Also, as I said, I love when artists are involved not only in the writing of the lyrics but the production as well, and in my mind 17 is the prime example of that. What I like about Phobia is that it's the same but different for Stray Kids, you know? It's got the heavy bass-led driving instrumental that a cipher normally has, but all the vocals are more of a traditional singing and not hardcore rapping that Stray Kids is known for. Of course, it wouldn't be Stray Kids without it, Felix and Hyunjin leading the way, but it's really that it sounds more like a traditional pop song that catches my attention. And I'm glad to see that Stray Kids has that side. It proves that they're not one-dimensional. Also, Felix actually sings in this song. It's amazing. is one of those groups that I've adored since day one. I feel like with each comeback they get better and better, and having, in my opinion, one of the best entertainment companies behind them, M&H, will really behoove them as they get further along. This song solidifies Bandit's main sound of being like chic and grown up. Mature, in this sense the word, implies more of a sexual undertone, and I don't feel that they portray that. What I really like is how the song just feels like it fits the age group of the girls and isn't on the extreme of being cute or the extreme of being girl crush. It's neither of those things and breaks into a chic style that I think a lot of more groups are going to be going for in fourth gen K-pop. But I feel like Bandits is really leading the way with that, really dating all the way back to Dramatic, which was like right after their debut. So originally I wasn't going to put Weekly in this list as I felt there wasn't enough time for me to really break it down and get down to the nitty-gritty parts of it even on my own. But after a couple days of listening to it after release, I can't get it out of my head. The cheering reminds me of Rocket Punch's Bouncy, but it's a lot more intense, and all the girls are really good singers and have very unique voices. Their timbre is also really well defined, and it works seamlessly with all the other members. Overall, this is my favorite debut not just of 2020, but of the past few years, if I'm being honest. It hits with a rap section that's completely disconnected from the rest of the song, reminiscent of the same way Boom Boom did it. But to stop comparing things, the singing sounds so sincere, and in every part, it's just super playful. I also love the guitar in K-pop. It's such a great debut, and I'm so excited for their future. I'm really glad this song was released in April because it gave it just the right amount of time to grow on me, which always happens with GOT7 barring you calling my name. I can't place it, but I always have a hard time liking their stuff until about a month after it's out, and then I really find myself singing it randomly throughout the day. There's nothing intrinsically unique about the song, but it hits me just right. And like Weir in the chorus is a really nice touch. It's like a mix between like an engine whine and screeching tires. I really don't know how to describe it, and I'm trying to think of the words, but if you just go listen to it and really listen down to it, you'll be able to find it. And it's a really nice touch. A-Pink have been the queens of chic since I'm So Sick, and now I can really see where the groups doing the chic concept are getting some inspiration from, and that's phenomenal. A-Pink is a group that's been around for a while. They debuted in 2011, and they're only in their like mid to late 20s, so I think they're here to stay for quite a bit longer, which is great because they're kind of like the last second gen group to still do things as a full group. I love how the overarching melody of this song just screams chic and maturity that's complemented very well by veteran idols who know exactly what they're doing with every part of the song. You know, I never really paid attention to anyone in Lovelyz aside from K, even after Queendom, but this was in my feed and it took me on a journey. It's not something I would have expected after listening to K solo, but that's the beauty of solos. You get to see a completely different side of the artist, and Ryu Sujong's solo does that perfectly. It's my type of solo from a female artist. It shows that she's capable of being her own artist, which is the way most idol groups go, especially when a new generation is debuting like No Tomorrow. That's more important than ever for career longevity. Now, I knew fanfare would be breaking from what Twice has been doing in Korea recently, but I didn't expect it to be a summer anthem for me. I could tell from the first chorus it was going to be like my summer song, my summer anthem. Yeah, it's J-pop, but who cares? It's great, fun, playful summer song that I would be playing all the time outside if I could have a normal summer. I digress. It's energetic, it's uplifting, it's fun, and it's perfect for the time of year. A home run all around. Also, that last part where they fake you out in the ending is absolutely beautiful. I was satisfied with what I had, and it sounded like a perfect ending, but then that last drop just comes in to give you that extra oomph and like really create a lasting impact.
Love me now, love me good. Don't need nobody else when I feel that's good. Ain't nobody around, do it like it should. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah, you make me go. Love me now, love me good. You make me go. Don't need nobody else when I feel that's good. You make me go. Ain't nobody around, do it like it should.
Continuing with Twice is what I'd call a title track worthy B-side. They've had a few of these recently. Turn It Up and Love Foolish off of Fancy You and Feel Special respectively. Those two specifically, and now this. It's by far my favorite B-side of the More and More album, and Mina on the hook is incredible. I'm so glad she's back full time. I didn't know I needed a deeper voice Mina until I had it. I just can't get enough of this song. It's so great.
I'm falling down, 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 down. 완벽한 바다에 추락하는 별. I'm falling down, 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 down. You're my lucid dream right now. 그래 난 이미 너야. Only one, 그래 one. 다쳤던 날 열어준 마지막 조각은 너야. Only one, 그래 넌 스며들어 파고들어 이미 perfect 너와 나.
One word. Dubstep. Or is this trap? I don't know the actual difference, but this song screams it. It's just such a prevalent part of the song, barring the pre-chorus, and considering that it makes you want and expect a heavy drop for the chorus, the execution of what's essentially an anti-drop and then subtly adding in the dubstep bass back into the second part of the chorus is perfect. Also, the bass in the first part of the chorus is really satisfying. I love when you can actually hear acoustic instruments, as a lot of pop music nowadays is done on synth, and this is very, very clearly an actual bass guitar. Heaven is another song like Phobia, where it's more of a pop song than a cypher. And it's an anthem song like My, but a lot more of like a hype song per se. I find that with their first album, Stray Kids have really stretched their wings, and that's what you want from a group. Establish a sound, for them it's Cypher, do that for a bit, and then stretch your wings with B-sides before bringing that more to the forefront. Of course, you're never going to go completely away from your sound and just leave that behind. Especially being a Cypher group, Stray Kids can keep that sound throughout their entire career and won't really need to change it at all. But I really feel that even though there is rapping in both Stray Kids B-sides on this list, that if it were just a verse, I don't think it would hurt it at all. Now, this is a rare occurrence where I put a B-side on the list without the title track even being considered. I considered Fantasia, but I didn't even give Nonstop a thought after hearing Dolphin. I was like, no, this is the best song on the album. Honestly, and this is something I rarely say, Dolphin should be the title track. It's that good, with the da 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 da, especially with the minimalistic instrumental being the guitar in the background. I think it's a bass guitar, but I could be wrong. And then there's that light percussion, and the rest of the sound is filled with the girls' voices and a couple of xylophone riffs here and there. It's addictive, and even though it came out in April, it's a perfect summer song.
Left and right, left and right, left and right, rip it, left and right, left and right, left and right, rip it. 기분 좋을 땐 걱정 없이 서도 확실하게 follow me. Left and right, left and right, left and right, rip it.
I'll be completely honest, I didn't like this song at all when I watched the MV. It just didn't hit me at all. I was kind of disappointed. Then I listened to it without any visual stimulation, and I think it was the music video that kind of killed it for me. But this song is an absolute banger. I could listen to this all day long and not get tired of it. It's a sort of like cheery anthem sort of sound, especially with the horns. And I think this era in K-pop is using a lot more natural sounds, as the guitar and the percussion are a lot more natural sounding than if they were electrically produced or just off a synth. And that's something that will always make me smile. Woozi, Bumzu, and Vernon have outdone themselves with this track. I'm currently falling in love with this song. At the moment, I don't like it more than the number 5 song on the list, so I can't give it any higher of a ranking than it already has. I love the strings in this song, and the piccolo, I think it is. It might be a flute, but I think it's a piccolo, along with the soft guitar and the very subtle bass in the intro, is so soothing and relaxing. And Sunmi's voice only adds to that to hit you with that timpani drums and what I think is a trombone in the background, along with the percussive timbre of a voice to match. It's just so well done. Sunmi is another artist that not only writes her lyrics, but is active in the production of her music. It's so important because songs like this can come out of it, something that fits the artist like a glove. This is the prime example of that, and this is the gold standard of co and self-production. I'm sorry for just like completely nerding out, but God, I love this song.
Say more, 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 and more. 멈추지 못해 more, 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 and more. 그러니 한 번 더. I wanna have more, 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 and more. 멈추기 싫어 more, 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 and more. 그러니 한 번 더.
More.
멈추지를 못해. 그러니 한 번 더. 멈추기가 싫어.
I'm surprising myself with more and more coming in at number 5. I thought it'd be higher. I've stand twice since 16 was announced, and I never thought I'd put them this low on a top 25 list. I know that's kind of odd to say because they're still in the top 5. Like the lyrics say, I want more of this song because it's just so addictive, and I love how Twice has shifted to more of like a dance track feel, starting with Fancy and even continuing that somewhat in Japan with Breakthrough. I've really liked the style change that they went for, and it's really showing its fruition now. Also, tell me the last time Nayeon looked this gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, she's always looked great, but this is on a different level. I saw the teaser photo and I was just like, wow.
I feel like I became a zombie. 머리와 심장이 텅 빈 생각 없는 어수와비 언제부터 이렇게 된 걸까? Oh I became a zombie. 난 또 가라 정처 없이 내일도 들을 것 없이 그저 잠이 들기만 해.
The reason I like Zombie so much is that it's so relatable to so many people. I understand the online message, but on a surface level, I feel like everyone can relate to this. Whether you're a day-to-day 9-to-5 office worker going through the motions, or like me, looking for a job with nothing coming through, and honestly feeling pretty empty about it, that's what's relatable about it. The progression of expression in the vocals is what I like the most. It starts off very deadpan with a small range, almost monotone. But through the verses, the chorus, and the song overall, it adds more and more to the song, filling out the song. Even in the instrumental, the first chorus is very plain and doesn't have a lot until the guitar fills in the post-chorus. From there, the vocals add a lot more color and range. The instrumental fills in by taking away a sort of like muffling filter of sorts. It just conveys the emotion so well. What's interesting is that there's really no bridge, or in fact, the bridge is the chorus and they cut out the traditional last chorus, just ending the song right there. Very impactful.
깊숙이 스며들어 stay with me tonight, stay tonight. Tell me what you wanna do, run away or stay tonight, 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 tonight. Tell me what you wanna do, run away or stay tonight.
So Stay Tonight is very much an obvious dance track, but it's Chunga's style to a T. Chunga's best sound borders on that line between dance and chic, leaning more towards chic, but this is definitely a dance track. I'm surprised a pre-release single got this high on the list for me, but it only gets me more excited for Play and whatever album is coming up. Also, can we talk about Chunga's vocals for a second? She always hits this high note that I think is somewhere around an E5, which is really high even for female vocalists, but it just ceases to amaze me how great her vocals have progressed since Produce 101, and even IOI, it's just gotten better and better.
Oh my God, she took me to the sky. Oh my God, she showed me all the stars.
Again, this is a prime example of what can come out of artists being involved in their production. It's desperately needed in K-pop. Not a lot of people do it, especially on the female side, but Soyeon is incredible at it. She's always super involved in the production of Yoja I-dle stuff, and can we talk about her being the best rapper in K-pop too? I'm sorry, she is. Anyways, Soyeon isn't all of Yoja I-dle. What I love is the contrast of timbre between the verses, pre-chorus, and chorus. The verses slightly draw out the syllables while the pre-chorus just drives forward, and the chorus draws out everything, making it feel as you're being tugged around, and it keeps you interested. It's actually incredible how much effect that actually adds to the song. It really puts an extra oomph into the sinister sound of the church bells to start the song and remain throughout until the end, where the beginning is recalled.
Be yourself, 투명하게 보여줘. 뜨거운 입술로 뱉어 빨간 내 입술로 내뱉어 Up down down 몸을 맡겨 내 목소리 들어 안심부터 잠들 때까지 뜨거운 입술로 뱉어 차가운 그 입술은 닿아 그냥 지겨 내 이름을 불러 안심부터 잠들 때까지.
Solar is one of my favorite K-pop vocalists, and this being her first solo venture, at least that's charted, is a major step in her career, especially being that she participated in writing the lyrics and in the production of the song, which, as I mentioned before, is something we need more of in K-pop, but that's another discussion for another time. The song itself is a near masterpiece and is so natural, Solar's participation being a big part of that. I love acoustic guitar in K-pop, and almost the entire instrumental can be reproduced on an acoustic guitar. It's great that it's not just in the beginning of the song. I could see this being a Mamamoo title track, but that's not a bad thing. Even though Solo should display another side of the artist, I think Rainbow World has molded Mamamoo into a group that can do anything but sticks to a certain sound and molds their music around the artist, which is why I think this song sounds so much like a Mamamoo song, but also so different, being that the instrumental is very limited and Solar harmonizes with herself so well. That wraps up this quarter, and considering that I started with over 50 songs that I adore to pick from for this quarter, I think I had a pretty healthy mix of everything. I will say that April, May felt kind of bland and June hit like a truck, but that's how it goes. I mean, January and March, in my opinion, were pretty bland, but February hit like a truck. Anyways, we're halfway through the year, and there's been some great things coming out of K-pop this year considering everything else. It's one good part of 2020. I'm looking forward to the rest of the year, and I hope you all are too. Stay safe. Goodbye, adios.